Hello, dog lovers, and welcome to Mutts with Manners Canine Academy podcast. I'm your host, Corey McCusker, canine coach, and I have along with me Diane Purser, canine educator.
Hi, everybody. Corey and I have a passion for pups, and we thank you for joining us today.
So today's topic is the importance of socializing your new pup, one that's very close to our hearts and one we are so passionate about.
Yes, Corey, I just think this is so critical for new puppies. You're setting them up for the rest of their lives. I think today, just to make sure everyone understands, we should talk about what do we mean by socialization, and also what happens if we don't socialize them and the impact on you and your family and the community.
So at the end, we're going to provide you with some great ideas that you can work with your pup at home. So let's talk about how we set them up for success.
Well, the very first thing I always think about is I try to think about my pup and the fact that they've just left the home they were born in, their mom, their litter mates that they've been with their first maybe 8 to 12 weeks. They're entering into a whole new world with new experiences, sights, sounds, smells, people. It could be very scary for them.
And yeah, that's so true. And we really want to prevent that fear, that scariness from all those things that they're getting exposed to.
You and I know, and we have a pretty good idea of how broad this topic is, but what's the easiest way to talk about what socialization really means?
Well, it's about making them comfortable in the environment that they're going to be and how they're going to behave. I think it's all about exposing them and making sure that they're well-mannered, behaved around people, dogs, everything that they're coming into contact with it's about creating a comfort zone.
Right. Build their confidence so that they can have a nice, happy life with you. So usually you're getting your pup, if it's a puppy, somewhere between 8 and 12 weeks, sometimes a little bit older. When exactly then should we make sure that we are starting this socialization process to make sure we get the best out of it?
The moment you bring them home. So when you pick them up from the breeder, the rescue, the shelter, wherever you've gotten them from, you really have to start that socialization. I want you to be aware that a young puppy's brain is developing, and there's a key time when we introduce them to new things. The brain fully develops around 16 weeks, which means if you've picked them up at 8 weeks, you've really got a 2-month period to really take an opportunity to expose them before their brain's fully developed.
That's so true. So true.
And you know what? Let's talk about what we should expose them to.
Well, if we look at just big categories, there's all kinds of things underneath each one of them. But people, the different sizes, types of people, male, female, all those kinds of things to think about. Animals, not just another dog that they're going to meet on the street, because they come in all different kinds of breeds and sizes and ages and levels of activity, but also squirrels and cats and birds, all the things that catch their attention. Or what about objects? We forget about things like they've never seen a skateboard or seen a car whiz by, or maybe someone in the family is in a wheelchair or has a cane or a baby carriage. All new, all scary potentially.
Yeah, and you've got to look at the environment. I mean, everybody's environment indoors is different, outdoors is different, weather, everything. You've got to think about everything they're going to be exposed to.
I know.
So I think we need to talk about what happens if we don't socialize them.
What we need to do is understand what happens if we don't socialize them. We don't want this to be a scary process, but it is super important.
And I mentioned about the brain developing. Your window is really small. If your pup is not socialized before 16 weeks, they can develop fear. And that means they could become overwhelmed with new people, dogs, experience. And the puppy's communication is actually going to decline with dogs that they're meeting or humans when that socialization isn't present. The fight or flight, if they do get fearful, they could become aggressive, reactive, or so timid. And even when you take them on a walk, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah. We'll talk about it in another podcast because it's a completely all topic on its own, but so important is understanding how to introduce your dog or let people meet your dog when you're out and about, because we want to make sure that we're preventing dog bites. Even the best socialized dogs, you have to be mindful of how you meet them.
It's so true. So let's say we did get the opportunity to socialize, and what are the benefits when we do that?
Well, the first and foremost is we're just setting such an amazing foundation for a good temperament. These pups, when they've been exposed to many things, it just means that they can deal with other new things that come into their life as it goes along. They have confidence, they're friendly, and they're easy to be around, or at least well-mannered when they're not comfortable about something. They're not in a real fear situation.
They're great mutts with manners. So no, great canines in the community for sure.
Exactly. So why don't we now spend more of our time on making a plan, and then over to you on how to do this. Basically, step back, think about your lifestyle, think about what it is you like to do, how you live, and how much of that of your pup you want to have do with you. Think about inside the home, everything that goes on, everything outside the home. Again, the car rides, going to the vet is going to be so important. Cottage, maybe visiting people, taking them out for walks in the neighborhood, and all the different things that they are going to experience out there. Just make a huge list.
So true. That plan is key. And let's talk about how we do introduce them to that new world. As a canine coach, I really want to make sure that you ease them into new situations slowly. So you're going to be exposing them to a lot. Really use encouragement, either treats to make them feel like that it's a positive experience, maybe a toy for play, depending on what you're doing, or even affection, just encouraging them to meet the new people or have those new exposures. Be really sensitive to what they are experiencing. And the one thing I want to make sure we don't do is we don't want to force them into something, because if we do, that's when the fear can happen. You also want to make sure that if you are exposing them, that you do have them on leash, because if they do get frightened and take off, you don't want them to run into the road or who knows where they're going to go. And really set up a training support team, I would say, is get people that are going to help you expose your dog, either to different friends and family members that look different, males, females, children, and make sure it's really safe and friendly when you're introducing them to them. And also short periods, make it short and sweet. Really take a look at your dog and what's the body language that they're showing you. Are they crouching down fearful? Are their tails wagging? Are they looking excited to meet someone? So you got to take everything into consideration and just really do it in a way during those 2 months, if we're looking at the 8 to 16, that you're exposing them to really positive experiences and positive people.
Exactly. Let's make this a fun experience for everybody, and just offering lots of praise and support.
And I know we've just touched on a few things, Diane. So I just think what I'd like to do is we've got a tip list, a help sheet that you can kind of download, and, it can be customized to you, but it'll give you lots more ideas. If you would like to learn more about us and Mutts with Manners, you can visit our website at muttswithmanners.com for more information. Diane and I want to thank you for joining our episode today on puppy socialization. And it's just one of the key things that we really want to encourage people to do in the right way, so that you do have that well-mannered, confident pup in the community.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. And thanks, Diane. Always great to talk with you. To learn more about us, please visit www.muttswithmanners.com. You'll find blogs, other podcasts, and information. If you have any questions or have ideas for future podcasts, you can email us at Corey@muttswithmanners.com. Thanks, everyone.